Hello, beautiful people. I'm Zachary Adama, transformational guide and healer. Today, we're going to be talking about January energy for the full moon. And today, I'm speaking to you from our retreat center outside of Austin, Texas, where we have started our first round of intensive retreats and have been honored to see tremendous healing, evolution, and growth. I'm doing this video live today because honestly, I don't have time to do anything else. Um, I tried to go live a few times here a moment ago, and the sun was behind me and I was in darkness. And so I decided to end that until I could get some better lighting. So now I'm facing the other side of the desk, have the sun looking out the window in front of me, looking at the beautiful Austin, Texas landscape. And I'm ready to do this video. I think maybe the second one I've done live. But honestly, that was where the energy was today. So that's what we're doing. The energy for the full moon has an interesting quality to it. On one hand, we have the quality of exhaustion, the quality of feeling like everything we try to do we're thwarted. And then on the other hand, we have the quality of divine flow. And how do we get from exhaustion to divine flow? That's what I wanted to talk about today in this video. Exhaustion can have a lot of different components to it. Often we feel exhausted when we are really not in deep alignment with our purpose, when we're not in deep alignment with our desires, when we're not in deep alignment with the self. As we've sometimes talked about, the quality of the self, that individuated aspect of consciousness, is located right there at your sacral chakra, just below the navel. It's at that point that we draw vital energy. It is at that point that we find that we have the capacity to do the things we need to do in this world. And if you're not connected to your sacral chakra, if you're not connected with your love of life, if you're not connected with yourself and your own desires, you'll be exhausted. You'll find it very difficult right now to do the things you think you need to do. And that can be really challenging. And I want you to notice what makes you feel exhausted. What makes you feel like you just can't go on? Is it relationships that you have in your life that aren't very balanced, that aren't very reciprocal, that perhaps are not very nourishing to you? Is it a job, for instance, that isn't in deep alignment with your purpose, with your truth, with why you came into this world, why you came into a human body? What is exhausting you? What is making your body feel heavy? What's making your heart feel heavy? What feels like what makes it feel like you're swimming against the current? Identify that and identify where the lack of alignment is. Know when it's time to stop swimming against the current and find a new stream. We've been working about 20 hours a day here at the retreat center, getting things ready for the retreats, then facilitating retreats. And I can honestly say I have all the energy I need to do everything I need to do. I feel full of life. I feel full of joy. I feel full of desire to be of service. And I know that's because I'm in my divine flow. I know it's because I'm aligned at the deepest level with my truth. I'm aligned at the deepest level with what wants to be. And that's an important quality to think about right now. What wants to be in your life? What wants to be through you? what wants to be created through you. If you're able to identify that, if you're able to get really clear on who you are, what you are, how you came to serve in this world, and what wants to be birthed through you, you will find that you have all the energy in the world to do everything you need to do. That there will be a divine flow to everything that you need to do. It'll all get done much easier than you thought possible. That isn't to say that there won't be some road bumps. That isn't to say that you don't have to figure things out. You still have to keep listening in the moment. You try one thing, you listen, you feel into whether or not it's actually in divine flow, whether it feels heavy or whether it feels supported. If it doesn't feel supported, if it feels heavy, if it feels like you're swimming against the stream, change tactics. Turn around. Pick a different stream. You find a course of action that feels supported by the universe, feels in flow with life, that feels in alignment with who you are, what you are, and how you came to serve in this world. And if you do that, if you listen deeply and you tune in to what wants to be through you, everything will get so much easier. Everything will be so much easier, and you can do it. Might be hard, but you can do it. Some other things that we're dealing with in the collective is the healing of past life patterns, trauma, and projections. Let's talk a little bit about projections. Projections. How often do we actually see one another? How often do we actually look deeply into one another's eyes and see the being in front of us? How often do we simply see what we think that person is, who we think that person is, our idea, our story of who they are? We always have our relationships often mediated by all of our prior experience, so that we see not only the person before us, but we see everyone that remind us of. We see everything we've ever heard about. We're not truly seeing them. Perhaps we see our injury. Perhaps we see our trauma. Perhaps we're just projecting our story onto that person because it serves some agenda we have. That's a big one. Not seeing other people because we're too busy with our own agenda. We're too busy trying to get what we want, to see what they need. Something I'm noticing here at the retreat center as we start to gather a beautiful community around us to serve healing and higher consciousness is that there's a lot of people that want to be involved. And I'm in a position to sort of choose, in a way, who's going to help and how they're going to help. There's some people that are very eager to be leaders, very eager to be a leader, but they're not as willing to be a servant. And for those that aren't quite as willing to be a servant, I say you're not ready to be a leader. Until you're ready and willing to simply serve the mission in any way that is needed, to serve the medicine in any way that is needed, whether it be digging ditches or facilitating a transformational event, you're here to serve in whatever way is needed to your highest capacity. That's the sort of person that I say I want to align with. Someone who is committed to humbly serving, knowing their self-worth. There's this saying that you can be humble and proud at the same time, and that you really need to be humble and proud at the same time. You need to know your own self-worth. You need to know your strengths. You need to be aware of your weaknesses. And you also have to be aware that everyone has something to teach you, that you are a student of life. Everyone has medicine for you. Everyone has medicine for you. If you're able to balance those things, your pride, as well as your humility, your strength, as well as your weakness, well, then you will be able to serve in a much more balanced way. It's more in alignment. It has fewer projections of the mind. Fewer projections of the mind. If you can get really present right now, if you can get free of your mental chatter, if you can get into the eternal now with a servant's heart, listening deeply and receptively to what wants to be, there is no limit to what you can do. There is no limit to what you can create. You will be possessed by the creative power of God if you simply make yourself available to the energy right now in that way. Be mindful of the patterns that re-arise that have probably been with you for a long time, probably lifetime. That tendency to seek out power, seek out external validation, to want to be a somebody, to want to be revered, to be a warrior, who doesn't know how to act during peace times, to be a warrior, sometimes forgets who the enemy is, to be a warrior who sometimes turns on their own village because they have so much pent-up energy, so much pent-up aggression. Notice all these patterns that we have, all these different patterns that have been with us for a long time, how they're playing out in our lives. You'll be extra aware of that right now. You'll be extra aware of your patterns. You'll be extra aware of where you're not in alignment. But if you listen deeply, if you get fully present, if you're able to shed the mind for a bit, get into the heart, if you're able to fill that space, you can notice those patterns and transcend them. You can notice where you're stuck. Drop into divine flow. You can notice when you're swimming against the stream of what wants to be, and either swim the other way or get into a different stream. All right, my friends, I think that's all I have to say about the January full moon. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are doing so very well. You are beloved. You are worthy. You are doing the work. You're on the path. Just stay grounded, stay in your heart, keep a servant's heart, and all will be well. Till next time, be peaceful, loving, and fearless, my friends. Namaste.